Hi, I'm Sean,
I'm Rhonda.
and we want to talk to you today about some issues that can be resolved versus issues that can't be resolved. How do you know the difference?
So, issues that can't be resolved might be part of our core belief systems. For example, as one thing, they're those things that, because of where we are in our spiritual growth or maturity level, this is what I cling to so dearly. I can't separate myself from it. And so it could be a belief that's a spiritual belief or
Yeah.
some other type of belief.
In this case, it's something that we need to learn to accept our spouse the way they are and be able to
Yeah.
love them unconditionally because this is who you are as a person.
We have to realize that we're supposed to be in a marriage to please our spouse. It even changes our walk with the Lord. It impacts that, as it discusses in 1 Corinthians 7. So, we don't want to be clinging to something so much more deeply than we are to our spouse. But then we know that some people are married and things change over time, or, one person becomes a believer and the other person has not yet. There's a lot of reasons for why there can be a shift. Maybe people got married and didn't really know certain things about the other person.
Yeah. All of that just goes to show how much we need to know the person that we plan on
This is
marrying.
true.
So, but anyway, find yourself in a situation where understanding what are solvable issues, and these are things that that can be resolved if you simply have the tools or the skills to do that with.
And then the unsolvable ones, those core belief systems, say one person's a believer, one person's not, or they hold strongly to two very different sets of beliefs. Maybe they're both very inclined to what they believe about God, but is really different. Well, that's where we accept the other person as is without trying to change them. We can have a good attitude
Yeah.
about these things.
Yeah.
Didn't Jesus accept us exactly as we are?
He did. And that's a perfect example of the kind of love that we need to be showing to our spouse. And that creates an environment where our spouse wants to do the things that please us when we first are showing them unconditional love and
Yeah.
acceptance.
So, what if we have these unresolvable sorts of issues? Or what if we have resolvable issues we just haven't yet resolved?
Right.
Either way, couples can find destruction in their relationship if they are really clinging to, but we're going to resolve this, or we have to resolve this in order for us to be healthy or happy. And there's some perspective going on there. We can choose when we're going through a roller coaster ride in life, one of those wild moments, we can choose to still be happy
Wow.
and peaceful because of our walk with the Lord.
Or we can choose to be miserable and let everybody know about it so that we're kind of, in effect, punishing them for me not getting my way.
Or because they're different.
Yeah, and when we can get caught up into really idolizing our own viewpoint and our own perspective and wanting our spouse to serve and worship us.
Right, kind of that black, white, I'm the right person, you're the wrong person. God agrees with me and disagrees with you sort of thing.
Who's on the Lord's side?
That's right. So can you see how destructive that can be?
Yeah.
But what if we love the people in our family and we minister to them right where they are?
Yeah.
Even if they're not pleasing to me, do you think that you're completely, absolutely pleasing to God? Nothing else to do or change or grow into. We have a lot of growth to do, don't we? And
do.
yet God loves us where we are.
Yeah, we still have areas that we need to grow into. We need to understand that there are issues that we just haven't worked through yet. So we can gain the skills and the knowledge of how to work through something, yet we can have areas that we just haven't taken the time to apply that to yet.
And, we have to be patient. So there's a lot of reasons why that could be the case. One could be there's just several things we haven't stopped and made that a priority to work through. And we should. There could be those things, though, that our spouse just isn't willing to work through those with us.
Yeah, and so we need to understand if our spouse is in a different place about working on the issues. That doesn't mean that you can't impact the relationship if you're the only one working on it.
This is where we make an adjustment and we say, you know what, so this is the way it is. This is what we have in our marriage, and I'm going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be my definition of the perfect marriage before I can be happy and content and satisfied.
Yeah.
Goodness, we've seen so many couples just absolutely whittle away at the relationship for various reasons. They're married to a good-willed person,
Yeah.
but goodness, you'd never guess it the way they talk about them.
You know, a lot of times we lose perspective of the good that's there because we become hyper-focused on everything that needs to change. And this is where it's good to have a list of the 10 positive qualities of your spouse and refer to that whenever you feel challenged by their behavior, just so you can remain or retain the perspective that, you know, there's something good in my spouse.
And to keep that gratefulness before God, that being so thankful for this person. Think about all the things they do, not just the things that they don't do. You've got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Why focus on what you don't have?
Yeah.
Instead, focus on what you do have, because really it's not a how fulfilled should I be in this relationship, but what is the ministry and calling that I'm supposed to do in this relationship, because it's when our walk with God is where it ought to be, and we're ministering and serving like we're called to, that we tend to find our fulfillment.
Wow. And it's, I think, too, when you said that, you're looking at your marriage almost like it's another entity or an organization, as it were, and you're looking to protect that and cause that organization, your marriage, to thrive. And it's not all about me, it's not all about you, it's about us.
And the thing is, we have to be able to die to self for it to live. And to the extent I can die to self, I can let my marriage thrive. To the extent I cling to all that is me, and I want to see all that is me expressed in all that is you, I destroy the marriage. But to the extent I can let you flourish, and I can also flourish, and then we can find a union around that, what it is, not what I wish it were, then we can enjoy our marriage, you know. But God can make two out of one, even if they're imperfect. Just like God doesn't expect children to obey only perfect parents. He can do a work in children even with imperfect parents. So with the marriage.
You know, what we're talking about really is how to have a good and a happy life, even if your marriage has some things in it that need to change.
Yeah, because like we were saying earlier, there may be ongoing issues. There may be just those current things that pop up, those things that ought to be resolved that are not resolved. But we need to accept the differences. And we need to be okay with it. Because, you know, there's all sorts of parts of who we are that aren't where they need to be yet. That we can still have peace and we can still have contentment in the life God has given us.
You know, marriage is meant to be a blessing. Your marriage to your spouse is meant to be a blessing to you. And God didn't just only give that to two perfect people.
Exactly.